Good afternoon, fellow classmates. Once again, thank you for observing our debate. My name is Michael Everett, and I will give the affirmative rebuttal today. My opponent has made a good argument for maintaining the status quo with their skilled use of sources. However, the current approach is clearly not working and will only result in more crime and more human trafficking. Although I touched upon this during my introduction, I once again must illustrate the current environment in the United States for sex workers. The reality is that regardless of legality or criminalization of prostitution, the sex industry thrives. In the United States, the industry exists in all major cities, not just the rare county, Nevada, where it is legal. A study conducted in 2016 by the Urban Institute illustrates how lucrative the underground sex market is. The research estimates revenue ranging from $39.9 million to $290 million in major cities such as Atlanta, Dallas, Denver, Miami, San Diego, Seattle, and Washington, D.C. There are an estimated 1 million prostitutes in the United States. Unfortunately, prostitutes who enter the market either by force or voluntarily face little to no protection from abuse or access to disease prevention due to the threats prostitutes face from law enforcement. This is the reality, and this is the status quo my opponent wants to maintain. My plan, using the German model, would require sex workers to register annually and renew the registration every year. Part of the annual registration process would require any sex worker to receive counseling and education on STDs. Brothel owners would also be required to do the same and meet very high standards for cleanliness, hygiene, and most importantly, emergency procedures for notifying the police. It works in Germany, and it can work here. There would be some startup costs. However, as I discussed, the tax revenue would be more than enough to administer all aspects of the program. Additionally, it would free up some law enforcement to focus on the current surge of violent crime in our country. My opponent is guilty of the slippery slope fallacy, trying to portray legalized sex work as leading to crime, the spread of STDs, and increasing human trafficking. The results from Germany and New Zealand challenge our assertions. My opponent has enlisted the same old arguments when challenging my resolution. As I stated earlier, the nature of most prostitution has changed. With the expansion of social media and various dating platforms, trying to prevent a legitimate form of work is a waste of time and money. Exploitation, unsafe, and unhealthy working conditions exist in many labor sectors. My resolution aggressively attacks this problem. The status quo does not. Sex work should be legalized and treated as any other profession. It is a simple transaction, as long as all parties are of legal age and agree. Since when is a simple transaction a crime? Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes my part of the debate. Thank you for attending.